Hello everyone, I thought I would try a different type of video today, at least for me. I got a good response from my Enterprise Shader tutorial that I shared a bit earlier. So I thought it'd be fun just to give a tour of the ship because I never got a chance to build this on camera as I built this model before I started this YouTube channel. So I thought I would just give a tour of the ship just so you could see what I did in case you want to build your own or in case you're just curious and you want to see what this was all about. So I'm going to start with the bridge tower and deck 2. And the VIP lounge that I built real furniture for. Tried to model it the best I can off the movie, even though the movie is kind of inconsistent with the way that it should look. And I also made this sort of inspiration wall with the old model Enterprise that I built for the Star Trek Bridge Commander game and the ship's registry and name right here. I thought it was a nice little nod to TNG. This was never seen in any of the movies, but I thought it was a fun thing to just kind of add to the model. And as well, I modeled the rest of deck 2 by creating chairs and such that you can see through the windows. And I wanted to give it some interactivity, some real furniture, so it gives it a more realistic look. And it has this weird green lighting from the motion picture that you can see in that movie from some of the exterior as well as interior shots. Another thing that I did was for the impulse deck and the impulse engines, instead of just using a light source or an illuminated texture, what I did, I think I can show you, is I created these coils. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of the actual model, especially the ones from the Christie's auction, but one of these is broken. Actually, I think they're both broken. And you can see inside they use a CFL tube. So I just built one and I gave it a illuminated texture. And the really cool thing about this is that I can change the color. You know, I can give it that blue light that you see sometimes. I can shut it off. And I can change the intensity at will. Makes it very easy to control. And also, I think it just makes it look more like it would in the movie because it's closer to what the actual model would look like. Another thing that I did, and I don't know if you can really see it, but I modeled a bit of the recreation deck. If you remember in the first movie, this is where they're all having that big conference where they show V'Ger on this big screen here. And I even included the alcove, which shows the different enterprises. You'll get to see it once here we go. Which shows the different enterprises. This is just a screen grab from the movie. So the problem with this is that the deck that they show in the movie is too big to fit into the ship. It's way too tall, and the way that the ship is scaled to be exactly 1,000 feet long, that works for most things, like the deck height and the airlocks and stuff like that, but this is just too small. So what I did was I just modeled this interior in order to suggest the detail, because there's just no way you're going to build it to scale. It's not going to fit in the saucer, and it would just be silly to do. So this isn't really meant to be rendered from the inside. What it's meant to be is rendered from the outside. So I thought it was nice just to give it a bit of detail. So when the ship flies by, you get a nice kind of perspective change here, and you can see some detail inside. I always love building this kind of thing, and people respond well to it. Another one of the interiors that I paid a lot of attention to is the Botanical Garden that you'll see at the bottom of the ship. Unfortunately, this was never actually visited in any of the movies. It's only been seen from the exterior of the ship. But the good side of that is I get to make up pretty much whatever I want to. I mean, it looks, I think, kind of screen accurate from when you see the ship fly by, but I could add in details as I saw fit. So I decided to build a little park area / snack bar. And this is a bit difficult. Again, it's not really quite large. It's only, you know, 1 deck high. But I thought it gave room enough for some kind of trees and some foliage and some pathways with pebbles. And also this bar, the snack bar right here. And I threw in this fun kind of Easter egg. I don't know if you can see it. But I thought it'd be fun to kind of put a McDonald's menu inside, because, you know, you need fast food when you're dealing with dangerous space anomalies. And yeah, the rest is just trees and such like that. Again, this is mostly just for visual interest from the outside of the ship. This ship is not really meant to be rendered from the inside, but I thought kind of the more details that I could add here, the better it would look from the outside. Another thing that I did was the main deflector dish. If you recall, in the movie, it changes color. It starts off as kind of this brown color and it can turn blue. And I made that really easy to do because there's an actual light source in here and I can select the actual light. Right here, Navigational Deflector. I can change the color to the more familiar blue. It's not quite the right hue, but I'm just kind of doing this on the fly. Change the brightness too. But you can see it's really very adjustable, which is really good. And also because it's an actual light source, not only is it lighting the deflector dish itself, but this ring of cutouts all the way around. So it shines on all of these things, and it has a realistic fall off too, just like a regular light source. So again, really making it very easy to control. Also the Photon torpedo tubes. These are actual light sources, so I can shut them off to simulate either, the tube damage in Wrath of Khan or actually firing. So another fun little detail there. And of course I modeled as much of the mechanical kind of stuff as I could. This is really based on the studio model. There's a close-up in Star Trek 3 with lots and lots of detail, but I just want to keep it simple for this model, so I thought this would be fine. Another thing I want to show are these window boxes. These are basically like the ones that I built for the Sovereign. And I can isolate it just to show you what's going on. So yeah, this is basically the same idea. I tinted it a little bit to look more like the movie, but you can see there's some detail in here. Again, this is all for flying by, nice perspective changes, create some dimensionality to the windows. I guess I could show off one more Easter egg by the main shuttle bay. If I can get in tight enough to see it. There we go. So right there, if you can name the famous movie that this comes from, I think you might get a kick out of the fact that I included this little detail. Very small, as all Easter eggs should be. You can't really see it unless you're very close up to the ship. This does not have a completed shuttle bay, but I am going to add that because I want to do more dry dock scenes, especially with the new Enterprise footage with the shuttle bay open and shuttles going in and out. I think it'd be really cool. I also wanted to add some details not found on the original studio model because this is CG and I'm able to do that. This is the fully modeled dry dock door. I wanted to put a bit more detail in here than on the studio model because I thought it'd be cool to have some close-ups. So yeah, this is a fully modeled door and it matches with the travel pod perfectly, so I can make scenes with the travel pod docking. So that will do it for this ship's tour. I hope you found this interesting, and I hope you find it useful if you plan on building your own motion picture Enterprise. Let me know if you like this video, so I'll create more in the future, have a lot more models to show. If you thought this was fun and interesting to watch, please let me know. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.